I just feel so deeply when people go through it, because I have. So you need somebody who's going to be there, who can say, you know what, you're not alone right now. I'm going to help you. And if you put both feet in, we can do this.
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning into our second act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Hey there, Silka.
Hello, Paige. Paige, today I want to bring up a topic, not so pleasant, but very, this exists in life after 50, and that is feeling hopeless or demoralized. And I bring that up because one of our regular viewers, she told me that this is something, she has a following of her own. And this comes up over and over and over again, that later in life, there is a sense of hopelessness that people just get stuck in. Mm-hmm. So you being, a therapist who works with these same issues, let's talk about that. Let's touch on that topic and see if there's any advice you have that we can give in a segment to deal with this.
So that's a big topic. So hopelessness and demoralization. Well, first, let me look at demoralization, because the first thing that you'd want to identify is, do you know when in your life the demoralization began? And why I say that is, sometimes there's not just one time that we feel demoralized. Maybe there is, but that's usually, compiled of maybe little things that build up until one day we just feel like shit. And we feel hopeless about ourselves, hopeless about our life, hopeless about who we are. I mean, fill in the blank for whatever that is.
Was it about our relationships? I think that
was your relationships. Yeah. So if you've gotten to that point where you're feeling really hopeless, I can tell you that I do a lot of neurofeedback and biofeedback, because what's happening is there's a loop in the brain. And without getting too technical, the loop in the brain, our vagal nerve, something called the ganglions, all these things that hold this loop, and it keeps us stuck. So when you open your eyes, you're seeing, if there's a beautiful, sunny, perfect day, you're not seeing that. You're seeing gray, and you might notice that it's sunny, but to the core of you, it just feels dark. No matter how sunny it is, no matter what somebody gives you, it's just dark, because there's a loop that you can't get out of. So I can tell you that neurofeedback and biofeedback, when I work with everybody with that right away. Within a 60-minute session, they've changed that loop. Now, does it mean you need to keep changing it more? For some, yes, because there's layers to it. But it gives somebody hope right away that, oh, this is where this is from. And I don't have to keep this loop. And then with that, I create mantras with my clients. And I kind of find out, where are you on the path of spirituality? It can be faith, religion, spirituality, the universe, Buddha, nature, whatever it is. But it's so freaking vital to have something that you believe in outside of yourself, outside of another human being, that you go to for support, because it works. And we create mantras around that, because that helps change the loop in the brain, and it helps change the fluids in the body. Because in hopelessness and demoralization, your fluids in your body actually get stuck. Mm-hmm. So this helps to unstick them. Also, what helps is, I know myself, I do body work, forms of energy medicine. Go to see somebody, put your hands on the person. You can feel where things get stuck in their body. And the body goes, oh, this is how I can unstick. The body knows how to do it itself, but it needs assistance. And then that unsticks the fluids, which means everything is now moving better. So everything's not bunched up in hopelessness, demoralization. So I'll just take a pause, because I know I'm throwing so much out there, because I have a lot to throw out there. But I'll just take a pause for you right now, Silka.
Well, I guess my first question would be, what's the difference, or is there a difference between hopelessness and depression? And then I think before we talked about the segment, you mentioned that it's important to understand what caused it, because something usually always happens to you. Mm-hmm. And I think that might be important for our viewers to understand.
So, like I said, if you can target where did it start? And sometimes somebody can't because they're so thick in whether it's depression or the hopelessness that, again, the brain can't help you do it. That's why I go meet with the therapist to help you figure out, where did this start? How did this start? So I'll just give my just over general kind of example. And this can be with relationships, family, colleagues, or something happens to you. So something down the road happens to you. And Silka knows this. And we, back in 2019, I was attacked, I was assaulted, came very close to dying in many different ways, had internal injuries, external types of injuries, and for 2 years, severe pain every single night while I was still helping clients with trauma, hearing the worst of the worst. My body wasn't able to bounce back. So there was hopelessness of, am I going to be able, I'm only in my 50s, to function moving forward? And then coming up on then I got really sick because the trauma from that, which was demoralizing, the trauma from that created something in my body, that a disease that's incurable. So now, after fighting to come back to do what I can, then I got so sick that I couldn't even function. So you want to talk about hopelessness on hopelessness and demoralization and fighting back? I get it. Maybe yours is someone did something to you in a relationship or someone cheated on you. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Hopelessness is hopelessness. So some of the things that I've talked about, I've done. Like, I practice what I teach. And you really have to dig deep to decide, do you want to shift and change? Because the people around you can only do so much. It stems with you to have to kind of say, all right, what am I going to have to do? How do I change my outlook? Even if you're a real positive spiritual person, it's going to stretch every piece and fiber of your being. But I'm here to tell you that you can do it. So I'll take another pause.
Well, I guess the second part of my question is how does it differ, or does it, from depression?
That's a really layered kind of question, because it's all blended in there, right?
Okay.
When you're down and you're depressed and you don't see any out, right? That's depression and that's hopelessness.
Yeah.
They walk together.
Well, let me explain what I meant by that. Is because the treatments that you suggested, or what to do, is a lot different than what most therapists, do when they describe antidepressants and that kind
Well,
of.
I'm different, and you know that.
Right. Well, exactly, and that's why I'm wondering if there is is there a difference, or is it you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm an integrative practitioner.
Right.
From everything from, I'm a shaman, I do energy medicine, I do biodynamic cranial sacral, I work with fluids. I do Kundalini yoga, I bring that in, biofeedback, neurobiofeedback, types of energy medicine. And these are all different ways that work in your body, because our body is made up of frequency and vibration. Depression, anxiety, fear, anger, joy, they all have a vibration level. So if your vibration level of depression and fear is so high, it's going to affect all the organs in your body, and it's going to affect your brain. So when I use different forms of energy medicine, frequency medicine, biofeedback, neurobiofeedback, hands-on body, it changes the vibration. So it lifts up the depression, takes away the fear more. So the person is able to kind of crawl out of it and go, oh my gosh, I've got some hope here. I'm not, at the end of my rope, because the person's brain and the vagal nerve and the HPA axis, all this things that's in our body has been affected and needs support and help to lift and to shift it and change it.
Yeah. Well, so people, if they're listening, going, wow, this is what I need, or I'd like to try this. And there's only one page. Is there something they can do? Is there, obviously you have clients all over the world, but what can somebody do today? You
can actually, you can find somebody who does biofeedback and neurobiofeedback. You can start there, but you really need to be working with someone who understands this, because you can do it alone only so far. You really need someone to be there to hold the space for you, to take your hand, I just feel so deeply when people go through it, because I have. So you need somebody who's going to be there, who can say, you know what, you're not alone right now. I'm going to help you. And if you put both feet in, we can do this. So that's the first thing. You have to reach out. But there's so many different things that you can do. And there's positive books and different mantras that you can use. And I'll tell you, another big thing is the food that you eat, because I also got certified with nutrition. So there are actual foods that can, really amplify your depression, amplify your anxiety. And then there's foods that can make it better. So your nutrition is a big part of this process as well. And you can start small with that way as well.
Yeah. Well, I know this is a topic that's incredibly close to you.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for sharing. Thank you for bringing that up. Again, I would ask our viewers, leave your questions, what it comes up for you when you heard us talk about this. Is there something we can cover? Do you have a question we can just answer in the blog, or send us an email, because this is such an important topic. After 50, as Paige said, so much has happened in our lifetime that we may not even know, why we are where we are. And hopelessness and demoralization is a terrible place to be, and we don't want you to be there.
But a positive note.
Yeah.
Can I have a positive note, Silke?
Absolutely.
Positive note is when you have the place of hopelessness or demoralization, or something has occurred, you're getting an opportunity to shift and change and grow in a different way, that if these things hadn't happened to you, would you have gone to the greatest depth to do it? So I really want you to look at it from that perspective of how this is giving you an opportunity to actually step into something differently that could just shift and change your whole life for the better. Even if that means maybe some things in your life change and you have to adapt, you can adapt with light in a different way.
Thank you, Paige. And we'll see you again soon on Our Second Act with Paige and Silke.
For your second act of life.
If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right here. Just click on through to YouTube, and when you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, hit that too, and we'll notify you every time we launch a new video. See you next time.